If you're looking to get familiarized with the city of Fort Lauderdale and all the different neighborhoods, this video is for you.
All right, so let's dive right in. We have Fort Lauderdale right here, which is right smack in the middle of South Florida, Miami to the south, West Palm Beach to the north. You can be in Miami probably about 35 to 40 minutes and West Palm Beach in about 45 or so. So very well located. Now let's dive right in. So just starting off here, this is really the downtown section of Fort Lauderdale here. You have Las Olas Boulevard, which is the main strip of downtown Fort Lauderdale. In many ways, the main strip of Broward County. It's where all the attractions are, restaurants, nightlife. Throughout the year, they have a number of events. It's a really, really awesome street, enjoyable place to live. Now let's just start off with Victoria Park, which is right here. I'm going to outline this for you guys. So starting out, here we have Victoria Park. So we're east of US 1 Federal Highway, south of Sunrise Boulevard, and north of Broward Boulevard. It's a very beautiful neighborhood. It's a mix of mid-century modern homes, a lot of new construction popping up. You also have some townhome developments and multifamily sprinkled in, but it's mostly single family. Holiday Park, it's a great park, a number of playing fields and courts, playgrounds. There's a dog park in here as well. And a lot of events are held in here. And they just put in a new public ice skating rink. It was a partnership between the Florida Panthers and Baptist Health, open to the public. And it's also a practice facility for the Florida Panthers. So this is a very exciting addition. Florida Panthers, they do a ton to support the community. The community supports them. So this was very exciting. There's a bit of a buzz going on. So yeah, that's Victoria Park. Also here in the southeast section of the neighborhood, there's another park over there. You have some walking paths, water views, some people kayak over here. So all around, brilliant neighborhood, great location, highly recommended.
Really quick, your support goes a very long way. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. Now let's get back to it.
Again, this is Victoria Park, which is east of US 1. Now we're going to look west of US 1. So now we're in Flagler Village. If you want to, say, rent near downtown Fort Lauderdale, there's a ton of great buildings in here with awesome amenities. This is a really enjoyable neighborhood to live in. It's its own little world over here. You have a lot of neighborhood restaurants. You have some nightlife over here. And something to also point out, which is probably one of the most exciting new developments in Fort Lauderdale, is the development of Fat Village. It's going to be an art district, a mix of retail, office space, mixed use residential. This is really going to transform this section of town in a number of ways. Here, I could drop an image here. And I'll also put a link in the description for this development as well. You could learn a little bit more, but definitely something to keep an eye on. Very exciting for the city. And heading just up this way, again, another very exciting development. I'll drop a link in the description for this as well. It's going to be a mix of apartments, office, retail. It's really going to beautify this little section of town. And this was the site of the old Sears department store and Sears auto shop. Here we have Coley Hammock and Beverly Heights. Great neighborhood, very beautiful. And now we're south of Broward Boulevard, so you're even closer to Las Olas. You're really a hop, skip, and a jump away, from all the action right here on the main strip. Some portions of the neighborhood, as you drive through, it really feels like a blast from the past. You really get that old Florida feel. So it's, again, another very beautiful neighborhood within great proximity to Las Olas. Now moving just east, we have Las Olas Isles. Well, what's colloquially known as Las Olas Isles, but it's broken down into a number of sections. So we have Hendricks Isle, Isle of Venice. Over here we have a number of townhouse and condo developments on the water. But the rest of it is pretty much all single family. You have Nurmi Isles, Seven Isles, Idlewild, Riviera Isles, and what's properly known as Las Olas Isles. Really great waterfront community, unobstructed ocean access. You have some spectacular properties in here and greatly located. You have downtown Fort Lauderdale just to your west and Fort Lauderdale Beach just to your east, both within walking distance. You just walk right over the bridge. I'd also like to point out over here, Olas Marina. It's been a very exciting development underway for the city, which has just recently been completed. So very exciting. It's going to be a huge driver and transformative for this area over here. So very excited about that. To learn more, I'm going to drop a link in the description so you can go ahead and take a look at that. So now we're going to quickly head to the southeast section of town, so south of New River. But while we're on New River, I'll point out this is a very beautiful waterway. Something that I highly recommend is the water taxi. The water taxi carries you right through town. Right through the southeast section, all the way up north through Coral Ridge, which we'll get to in a bit. It stops at a number of different attractions, restaurants. As you're going through, you get a bit of a tour. The tour guide, he'll point out, some of the more historical houses, give you a bit of the history on it. Very, very enjoyable ride. I highly recommend. I'd also like to point out, if you're a boater, you just like being on water, Fort Lauderdale is a great city. 165 miles of navigable waterway. Fort Lauderdale, that's why it's known as Venice of America. Really great town if you like being on water. So something to keep in mind. All right, so now we have Rio Vista, another very popular and desired neighborhood in Fort Lauderdale. I'd say it's probably one of, if not the oldest neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale. And I'd also say it's probably the most architecturally diverse neighborhood. You have real blend of homes, some going all the way back to the 30s, mid-century. Also a lot of new construction in there now. And as you go east, you have Rio Vista Isles, really brilliant waterfront community. And look how quickly you get out to the ocean. And you have the inlet right down here. So really, really great neighborhood, beautiful neighborhood, and brilliantly located. Now just south of Rio Vista, this little section over here, Harbordale, you have a mix of multifamily, some townhouse developments, and Harbordale Elementary is right in this neighborhood as well. It's one of the top elementary schools in Fort Lauderdale. It's very sought out. Coming east, another waterfront community over here is Lauderdale Harbors. Again, location, great location. Get out to the ocean so quickly. And just to the east, we have Harbor Beach. This is probably one of the most exclusive waterfront neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale. Super high-end, ultra-luxury homes, a beautiful neighborhood, and brilliantly located. While we're in this neck of town, I'd like to point out Pier 66 Resort and Marina. This is really a spectacular project. Some beautiful luxury residences, marina space, and also the iconic rotating rooftop restaurant is going to be coming back, so people are very excited about that. Now, the main strip down here in this section of town is 17th Street Causeway. I'll just highlight that here for you. So you have a number of shops, restaurants. This is really a great strip here. If you like waterfront dining, one that I really recommend is Boatyard, great restaurant. You also have 15th Street Fisheries up here on Southeast 15th that I didn't point out before. And this is actually one of these stops that the water taxi makes. So a couple restaurants there to highlight. And yeah, this takes you right out to Fort Lauderdale Beach. So you get out to the beach very quickly. So this is a very great section of town as well. Now, just south of 17th Causeway over here, you have Harbor Inlet. Very beautiful, quiet neighborhood. Before we head back north, I'd like to point out a couple other neighborhoods in this section of town. So we have Tarpon River right over here, Sailboats Bend, Croissant Park, Riverside Park, and Shady Banks. I actually think Shady Banks is really a little gem of a neighborhood. A lot more affordable homes relatively speaking, compared to some of the other neighborhoods in town. And it's an enjoyable neighborhood, really beautiful. You have Hort Park, which is a really great park, especially for the kiddos. So definitely one to take a look at. I'd like to also point out quickly before heading back north, right here you have Fort Lauderdale International Airport, which is a great airport. So to have that so conveniently located, within minutes from most places downtown, it's really great to have. So as we're heading back north, again, we're crossing over Las Olas Boulevard, Las Olas Isles, Victoria Park, which we just went over. Here you have Sunrise Key, which is a smaller, more intimate waterfront community. Very nice, very beautiful. So here we have Sunrise Intracoastal, another great neighborhood. You have some waterfront homes, some really beautiful waterfront homes right here along Middle River Drive. You're right behind the Galleria, and this is another great strip right here. This is Sunrise Boulevard. So just north of the neighborhood, we have a ton of restaurants, shops, really all the basic necessities are right here, grocery store. So very, very nice neighborhood. So now we're going to head north of Sunrise Boulevard, go over some of these neighborhoods. You have Lake Ridge, which is directly north of Victoria Park, just on the other side, north of Sunrise. And you have a mix in here. You have some single-family homes. You have a lot of townhouse developments popping up in here just because of the zoning. That's what you're seeing. Now, as we go north of 13th Street, now we're getting into Poinsettia Heights, another very popular neighborhood in town. Beautiful neighborhood. You find slightly better price points compared to, say, a neighborhood like Victoria Park, but generally speaking, you're still very close to everything in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and easy access to this section of US 1 Federal Highway, which you're going to find a ton of shops, restaurants as well, grocery, really everything that you need is right here on this strip. Now it's coming east of US 1. We have Bal Harbor over here. This is another waterfront community. Difference with Bal Harbor and a number of others that we'll go over in a bit compared to some of the other waterfront communities is that there's not unobstructed ocean access, meaning that you're dealing with some fixed bridges, so you are limited with the size of crafts that you can accommodate here. Like as you come down, you see here, this is a fixed bridge, as opposed to these ones here, like on Los Olas, that opens up, and down here on 17th Street Causeway, that opens up. So there are some limitations there, but a beautiful, really remarkable neighborhood. Now, let's go over here. Again, we're north of Sunrise Boulevard. We're in Coral Ridge. Coral Ridge is a very, very popular neighborhood. One of the huge pulls here, we have Bayview Elementary School, which is right in the neighborhood, right over here. Bayview is probably one of the top public elementary schools in the city, and that's a huge pull for this neighborhood. And it's a large neighborhood. We stretch north of Oakland Park Boulevard all the way up to Commercial Boulevard. And, this section over here, this is Coral Ridge Country Club, beautiful part of the neighborhood. Now, if we're looking east of Bayview Drive, which I'll highlight in a bit. Now, for sake of time, I'm not going to head all the way down, but, you can see it. Bayview goes all the way back down, right to Sunrise. So, just looking east of Bayview, we have all the waterfront homes in the neighborhood. Some really, really beautiful properties. And the waterfront homes in Coral Ridge, they do have unobstructed ocean access, so you can get right out to the ocean. A bit further away from the inlet than some of the other neighborhoods that we just reviewed, because you're a bit further north, but again, still a really great neighborhood. You have some waterfront homes also too on the west side of the neighborhood on Middle River Drive, but similar to Bal Harbor, you do not have the unobstructed ocean access, so there are some limitations with regards to the type of crafts that you can have. Now, something I'll point out over here, Hugh Taylor Birch State Park. This is a great state park, especially, you like nature, you like the outdoors. You have some great walking trails, and bike trails with water views right over here. As you're walking through, the nature is really just astounding. It's a very beautiful park. I highly recommend it. Now, just over here, next to Hugh Taylor Birch, we have the Finger Streets, well, what's colloquially known as the Finger Streets. Proper name for the subdivision is Las Olas by the Sea. And look at the location. You're right across the street from the beach. You could throw a stone. There's a mix of homes in here. You have some older homes, a lot of new construction in here. And that's pretty much the overall theme of the city. This is such a developing area. So, a lot of these neighborhoods, you see a blast from the past, you see the new construction popping up, the new development. So, it really adds kind of a cool feel. But yeah, so another great neighborhood right across the street from the beach. As we're heading north here, let me zoom out a bit. We're cruising by, we got Dolphin Isles. And another great beach neighborhood here is Lauderdale Beach. Again, look how close you are. Very easy beach access, quick walk. You have some really spectacular homes here on Atlantic Avenue, oceanfront homes. So another great neighborhood here. Now, as we head slightly north, we have Lauderdale by the Sea, very popular area in town. It's a huge tourist attraction. You have a lot of cool little bars and restaurants in here, great beach, and it's a great neighborhood. You have some really beautiful properties, so definitely one to take a look at. And just over here, I'll quickly point out we have Bay Colony, which is a very exclusive gated waterfront community. A number of very notable individuals have purchased homes in here. Now, something I'd also like to quickly point out is some of the surrounding areas in greater Fort Lauderdale. You have Wilton Manors and Oakland Park. Mostly residents in Oakland Park. They can actually also use Fort Lauderdale address for what that's worth. But just to go over quickly, we have the Corals, South Corals, Central Corals, and North Corals. Very, very beautiful section of town. You have some really nice looking neighborhoods and homes. And again, you're very close to downtown Fort Lauderdale, a 10-minute drive, and you're there in no time. So it's still a very, very great location. Just west of US 1 Federal Highway. So again, you get out to US 1 and a lot of the shops and groceries right here. So great location. And you have some waterfront homes in here as well. You can't get out to the ocean in here, but if you like, being on water simply just for the views, especially like over here in these sections, you get some wide water views. So there are some very beautiful properties in here. Definitely not a area to overlook. And over here, North Andrews Gardens, this is another great little section of town, especially, similar to Shady Banks. If you're looking for some more affordable single-family homes, this neighborhood has really came a long way. It's really been beautified, and you're up here in this section of town in a more affordable area, but you can get downtown quickly. You hop right on Andrews Ave, and within 10 to 15 minutes, you're downtown. You're on Las Olas. Depending on traffic, but again, if you're looking for a more affordable section of town, North Andrews Gardens is definitely a section to look at. So now just heading back north for a moment. Again, we just went over the Corals and North Andrews Gardens. Going north of Commercial Boulevard, we have Coral Ridge Isles over here. Another beautiful neighborhood. You have some waterfront homes, no direct ocean access, so you are dealing with some fixed bridges. Imperial Point over this way. Now over this way, again, north of Commercial Boulevard, we have Chase Stadium. For you soccer fans, you want to get out, see Inter Miami, see Messi while you can. We have the stadium right here in town, which is really awesome. So this was a general overview of the city. There's a ton that I didn't touch on, a ton of new developments I didn't touch on, which perhaps I'll follow up in future videos to go into more detail. But I hope this video was able to give you a much better sense of the city, how it's laid out, some areas to look at, perhaps if you're interested in moving to Fort Lauderdale. If you are moving to Fort Lauderdale, I am a local real estate professional. So if you need any advice, guidance on purchasing a home, definitely feel free to reach out. All my information is down in the description. I'm very easy to get in touch with. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you guys for tuning in.